Zadandani, Election Ninja here. Before this video begins, I do have to explain that I don't think that Miraculous is going to be coming back for a while, mostly because of the fact that, well, Ladybug and Cat Noir, while they are popular, it seems like Zach is more worried about their other shows to make sure that they actually succeed, and they will basically just fall back on Miraculous if these other ones don't do well. And since they are currently going full in on a few of their shows, specifically, like I've mentioned in a previous video, Melody is specifically going to be in there, and recently, Rose, I don't remember what her name is, but the London hero who is a spy, they are going to be taking up some spots for a while, as well as, of course, Power Players and Zach Storm probably also have their own things. So Miraculous might take a little bit of time, but don't worry, it will be out before the end of 2020. So, yeah. But anyways, let's get into the video. Today, we are going to be asking a question. A question that kind of needs an answer. What exactly are the Kwamis? Now, I have tackled this topic to a certain extent in the past, but what exactly are they, and why in the world are we seeing these Kwamis be, well, to this extent? We know that there are 19, right? Yeah, 19 Kwamis within the first Miracle Box, but we also know that there are other Miracle Boxes that we at least know that there is a Lion Miraculous, and possibly more. One of the reasons why I think that there is probably also at least a Spider and a, what's that other one? A Jackalope. Those ones I'm pretty sure are going to at least be somewhat important, with several others as well. But the question is, what are they and how exactly do they work? So we are mostly going to be looking at these 2 pages of the Miraculous comic. While these have never once been stated in the actual show, and now that we know that Master Fu is going to be gone, he won't ever get to his chance to explain this stuff, but Marinette does know this stuff at this point. So, yeah. So, let's read what it says. First off, we know that there are tangible creatures and abstract creatures. And Master Fu expressly explains that that the abstract creatures are fairies, ghosts, muses, and Kwamis, which is actually kind of an interesting thing that they specifically mention those 3 creatures, which are actually extremely well known in almost any culture. And it's also interesting to note that these are also shows that are going to be showing up eventually. The fairies is obviously Pixie Girl. Ghosts is Ghost Force, as well as Zach Storm. And muses are for Melody, with also some other possibilities being in a few of the other shows. And they specifically mention that that these abstract creatures are connected to ideas and emotions. And there's quite a lot of stuff that is kind of hard to explain. We specifically know that what 2 of the Kwamis are. These are, of course, Tiki and Plague. We know that they are the Kwami of creation and the Kwami of destruction. And most likely there are other creatures out there, with each one being expressly explained. However, the only ones that we've actually heard Marinette expressly explain what they are, of course, the fox, the turtle, which fox is illusion, turtle is protection, bee is the immobilization, and then we also have the two new ones, which is second chance for the snake, and the horse is transportation. Or I don't remember the exact words that she uses, but it is in there. So that means that each of these are somewhat connected to an emotion or an idea. Now, we all kind of assume that the Kwami of emotion is Gusu, which is the peacock miraculous. And we also kind of assume that the selflessness Kwami is, which has actually been kind of explained, is Nuru. And everyone else we don't know. There's a lot to be unpacked here, and we never specifically get an explanation on the dragon, what exactly the dragon is, or the monkey is. I would like to say that monkey is most likely the Kwami of confusion, but quite simply, eventually we are going to run out of ideas. And obviously time travel is the bunny, but what are the other ones? There is some specific things that they actually explain there is no Kwami for, and that is kindness and nastiness. So so now that we have all of this information, it is important to understand that even though there is no Kwamis for kindness and nastiness, what exactly are the Kwamis? Obviously, they have to be balanced with some good and some bad, with bad ideas and good ideas, such as how there is the creation as well as the destruction. And the same can also be said for the two opposites of the five. Is most likely that the turtle and the bee are also kind of going against each other, with the bee being the Kwami of immobilization and the turtle being the Kwami of protection. And it's kind of this, there's a lot of other things that could be going into this. But why exactly are they Kwamis? What exactly does the name come from? So, the simple fact of the matter is that if you look up the word Kwami on Google, the only thing that you're going to find is stuff about miraculous. There's just nothing. There's no information about where the idea of Kwamis came from, or really anything. They just explain that they are abstract creatures, and that's really it. So, what exactly could they be? Well, part of me is thinking that they could be based off types of fairies. We all assume that they are fairies and that there are some certain things that connect them to them. But it seems like they are actually a combination of multiple creatures because of the fact that they have specific abilities that are extremely important. First off, what are their abilities? 1. The powering up of heroes, which allows them to go into jewels. This is less of their power and more of the power of the jewels that taps into the power of these specific Kwamis. And there is a little bit of a limit so that people who are not strong enough don't accidentally use too much of the power of the Kwamis. I actually have a theory that if you use too much of the power as someone who is younger, it could actually damage you and hurt you quite a bit. So maybe, but that's only one theory. So if that's the case, then we can thereby eliminate the fact that we now know that they are somewhat connected, that they aren't necessarily supposed to, we aren't really supposed to worry about the jewels as much. So instead, let's look at their actual powers. First, flight. This could easily be from a lot of different creatures, specifically fairies. Next is intangibility. This leads me to think that they actually have some powers of ghosts, along with the ability to not show up on camera. This is the only thing that actually makes them invisible, because they literally cannot turn invisible at all, except to cameras. Cameras do not see them whatsoever. So, as that's the fact, and Kwamis are completely invisible to cameras, that could mean that they are very likely ghosts. Yet, that's not all. They each have their specific traits and were born because of these traits. When the idea of whatever these things are came into existence, they were created, such as how Tiki was actually created when the idea of creation happened, meaning that when the Big Bang happened, that was when Tiki was created, with Plague probably coming not too far afterwards when he became the Kwami of Destruction. He specifically mentions that he was young during the time of the dinosaurs, so that could very easily mean that he didn't actually come about until shortly around that time. But it's also possible that he just says that he's young, even though he wasn't actually super young. But everyone else really no idea. They don't expressly explain how any of these guys came to be, except for the fact that they've been traveling across the galaxy for countless years. But thousands of years ago, they were someone created the Miraculouses, which are now able to contain them, which could actually mean that there's actually more Kwamis out there aside from, well, the Kwamis that we see in these things. Lots of things to unpack here, but I'm curious to know what you guys think the Kwamis are. Because obviously they can't be ghosts and they can't be fairies, even though they do seem to have traits of them. And they possibly also have traits of muses, but I want to be a little bit more certain on muses, so I'm going to wait on saying that they're how connected they are to the muses until we actually get information on what muses are in this universe. Specifically, when we see in Melody, we'll be seeing them, and we'll also, of course, be seeing the fairies in Pixie Girl when that eventually comes out. So until then, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But like I said, let me know down in the comments what you guys think these Kwamis are going to be what the Kwamis are. And of course, if you have any other theories about Miraculous or anything else I talk about on this channel, like manga, anime, whatever, then definitely leave them down in the comments and make sure to use the hashtag #TheoryReview, and I will see you guys in the next video. Also, before I go, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely check out my merch store down in the description below, as well as my book. But anyways, guys, I've been Electric Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on.